Hello, happy YouTubers. This is Marcelina. How are you guys? So, welcome again. And for those of you who haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe, guys, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified when I release new video, and we will grow together. So today we're going to plant this earlier calamondin, which is also known as Philippine lime. And as you can see, it's already rooted. I propagated with the Jiffy. And I did my air layering last winter, so I was in the greenhouse, and finally I took some of the cuttings and I'm going to grow this in a container, and I'm going to show it to you guys the steps. All right, let's get it. So after I took the cutting, I soak in water overnight to hydrate, and it is helpful to start the newly propagated plant. So I use this soil microgreens because it is great soilless media. It drains really well, and I'm going to mix this with sweet peat to balance the pH. Sweet peat is really great in balancing your pH. So if you're using a used container, you have to sterilize it. I spread this with fungicide. I'm going to add soil halfway. So I use Mycoplus when I transplant my plant to help transplant shock. So you have to wet the plant first, the root, so it's easy. I run out of Mycoplus. Easy to this Mycoplus to cling to the root. And I will add another soil. Then I will top dress with sweet peat. This is going to balance the pH and also keep the moisture locked in. Now, before I fertilize this calamondin, I had to make sure the pH value, because citrus prepares 6.5. So make sure that the nutrients will be absorbed by the root. Okay, so right now, if you guys can see it, the pH is as just the right pH is 6.3 to 6.4. So I would probably add a little bit of lime to to get into the 6.5 because it's a little bit in that 6.2 or 6.3, so it's a little bit too acidic for the citrus. So if we can raise a little bit like 6.5, but I would target 6.8 because 6.8 is universal and this is the range that majority of the plants will thrive. So I will target the 6.5 to 6.8. So I will add maybe a 2 scoop of lime just to raise a little bit from 6.2 to 6.5 or 6.8. So this is the everything that you grow. It doesn't matter if you grow trees, flowers, or vegetables. You always check the pH because the pH is everything. And if you don't correct the pH, like for example, if you grow vegetables, majority of the greens prepare in a more alkaline or neutral side. So if you don't check the pH, then it affects your crops, not crop, crops. Oh my goodness, guys, you just be with me, okay? Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to water it again and see. Probably it doesn't change the pH so quick, but then I will check it again in a month because pH can change depending on the environment. If it is too much rain, it changes the pH. If there is no rain, it also changes the pH. So your watering also changes pH. So, okay, let's try it again and see where we're at. So right now there is no changes yet, but it will change pretty soon. Still in that low pH. But let's go ahead and fertilize this. So I'm going to add 2 scoop of Epsom salt. Epsom salt is really handy, and also a lot of gardeners use Epsom salt because it gives magnesium to your plant, and magnesium has a role in helping your root system to get stronger, so it can absorb good nutrients and also helping in the production of the fruit. Now I will add fertilizer. So I use this citrus stone, and I just need maybe half of this bottle. Maybe this is enough. There is direction, the bag, guys. You can follow the direction, but I have been doing all the time this citrus. I've been growing a lot of citrus, so that's okay. I love calamondin. Calamondin is my favorite citrus. And I grew a lot of calamondin in the Philippines because calamondin, there's so many uses of calamondin, not just for food, flavoring. So we use calamondin fruit, we squeeze the juice and we add that to our shampoo because it is great in rinsing your skull. And if you have itchy skull, I think it is helpful. Now, so after you grow the calamondin from grafted or air-layered, you have to place this in area where there is no sun. So we have to protect from the sun, and I'm going to keep this uh, away from direct sunlight for 3 days. Then after that, after 3 days, I will uh, put them in the sun. In conclusion, stick with me guys all the way to the end, alright? Because I'm going to give you extra bonus of information. Growing citrus is fun and exciting experience. And if you haven't grown calamondin, calamansi, or Philippine lime before, you should try one. It's a beautiful ornamental tree, and also it gives you fruit all year round, especially if you live in tropical region. When I was in the Philippines, I grew tons of calamondin. I grafted majority of my calamondin. And even here in Ohio, I still grow a lot of calamondin because calamondin is my favorite citrus tree. So if you want to get one tree of calamondin, check cashewgrains.com, and by getting the tree at cashewgrains.com, you will guarantee that your tree will produce fruit for you within a year of growing, because it is not grown from seeds, it is grown from grafted, from cutting, or from air layering. Now, to make your tree to bloom, so I have a video that you can check that video why my citrus aren't blooming or aren't producing fruit. There are tons of videos that you can watch from. And citrus needs at least 8 hours of direct sun. So if you don't give it proper amount of sunlight, I'm sure your citrus won't give you fruit, right? It's common sense. So give it at least 8 hours of full sun. Don't hide in the shade. So another thing is watering. Now, if you water the citrus, water just once. Citrus doesn't need a lot of water. But if it is summertime, since you grew it in container, you water it twice, because the soilless media can dry out so easily. And also apply deep watering. Deep watering means you water the plant longer until the soilless media is completely wet. Or you can apply irrigation, controlled irrigation, 50 minutes per drops, twice in a day. That's what I did here in my backyard. I installed water irrigation to minimize my watering. Now, nutrients, citrus, I give citrus tone. If you need this product, just check the link description below. And also you can give it Ironite Plus. Ironite Plus is great because it gives iron to the plant. And here is the thing why your citrus is showing abnormalities of the leaves, like yellowing the leaves, for instance, because you are either not giving the right amount of nutrients, or you are not checking the pH. The pH is either high or low. If it is too high, it cannot absorb nitrogen, especially nitrogen. And if there is no nitrogen, your plant cannot photosynthesize, because nitrogen is helping, with the help of the sun, is helping your citrus to photosynthesize, so it can build that sugar and then produce fruit. So if your citrus is not giving a good proper amount of nutrients, then it would not help the photosynthesis. Now, again, iron, citrus tone or ironite plus are best nutrients to give to your citrus. How often do you give nutrients? I would say if it is slow release, give it every 6 months. You only give twice or once in a year. And if you see any sign of nutrient deficiency, then give it. So the other one is the pH. Now, anything that you grow in the garden must be checked in pH. That is the number one must in the garden. Don't fertilize until you know the pH, because if you don't know the pH, it affects the nutrients of the plant, absorption of the plant, and also it affects the availability of the water, because mostly pH, pH and salt go hand in hand. So it would be too much salt building, and then also the pH also affecting in that. And there's so many things could go wrong. So it's been crazy here in the garden. I always did a lot of research. Mostly I spend my time doing research, just to find ways what happened this, and how can I apply this, or if I put this or I give this to the plant, what would be the result, so I can share that information to you guys. So again is the pH. That is your number one requirements for your citrus. I am getting these questions from viewers like you, especially from the Philippines. The question was, Marcelina, I have grown calamondin from seeds, and it has been 7 years now. The tree is not giving me fruit. Well, I'm telling you, I'm telling you now, if you grow citrus from seeds, you have a long period of time waiting. You would be waiting 7 to 10 years or maybe 15 years without the tree giving you fruit. And I had grown Eureka from seed, and the tree was beautiful. And it didn't give me fruit for 15 years, and until now, the tree still not giving fruit. So I give it away to a friend, and my friend called me, "Hey, what I'm gonna do with this tree? It's not giving me fruit. I provide good nutrients, the nutrient that you told me, but it's still not giving me fruit." So I told him, just keep it, enjoy it. It's a beautiful tree, and you can use the leaves to brew tea and drink tea from that. But he gave it away to another friend, and hopefully the next friend will enjoy the fruit in the following year. So again, growing from seeds, I know it is fun and easy, but the drawback is not giving you fruit for long period of time. But if you want to grow seeds, here's my opinion. In my opinion, if I grow seeds, I will invest it. I will invest the plant. I can grow tons of seeds, and that would be the investment for my children. If you guys have children, do seeds, and then by the time your children grow up, then they have a good established fruit trees. They can either keep the tree or they can either sell the tree. So, so that is a good investment going from seeds. Now, so again, that is the problem. There is another variables to not producing fruit. There is another question from the viewers that Marcelina, I purchased calamondin tree from a nursery, and when I purchased it, it was having a lot of fruit. Then 2 years later, a year later, then 2 years, my calamondin did not give me fruit. It just go dormant. Well, I never had that problem, and the only thing that I could diagnose your citrus trees skipping fruit in another year, probably there are variables. The first variables is the pH. The pH probably changes, and you did not monitor the pH. So the other one is the nutrients. The nutrients is not balanced, or the tree is not getting the right amount of nutrients. And then probably the watering, you water all the time, and then the plant is getting used to, and if that is human, it will be lazy if you keep feeding it all the time. Another one, so there are few variables, probably the tree is not getting good amounts of sunlight, but in the most rare cases, if you give all of that requirements and still the tree is not giving you fruit and escaping 2 years, the only case that I can give it to you now is probably affecting from the changes of temperature. So weather can also change dramatically in the fruit production. Now, if you live in subtropical region, that could happen, that the tree will not produce you within a year, even if it was producing last year, but did not produce the next year. So they called it, I say, stress, winter stress. So you have too cold in that year, and the following year it's mild. So there was a change in temperature. Maybe that is the cause of skipping fruit production. Now, to learn more videos on citrus, why your citrus trees aren't producing fruit, watch my other videos, guys. I have a lot of videos that you can learn from. The video like no lemons, that is a good video. It is a long video, but it contains valuable information that you can learn from. Now, another thing that the fruit is not producing, not the fruit, the tree is not producing fruit, is that, no, not, let's, let's rewind. So to make your citrus to bloom, try stressing the plant, like you don't water the plant within 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Let it experience a short period of drought. And when the soil is dry, the plant will try to compensate the loss of water. So in order to survive, it will produce either leaves or either flowers. I did that in my greenhouse. My not really that was not really intentionally. It was at the back, my lime, and I did not even realize the plant was at the back. So by springtime, I said, "Holy cow, my lime!" I was shocked. It was covered with fruit, with flowers. and producing tons of fruit. But the problem, if you stress out, sure you have a lot of flowers. It gives you tons of blooms and a little bit fruit, but after that the fruit would not, most of the fruit would not develop because that was the effect of the stress. But you might get some, maybe 3 or 2 or develop from that stress plant. So try that to stress out and make sure that when you use that method, don't keep it too long because it would affect the plant. So just give it like an experience of a short period of no water. So this is for now, guys, and I hope this information helped you. And again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe, guys, and join this gardening. And we have a lot of things to learn from from this channel, and you also learn a lot of new improved gardening. And next week I will be building my rain tower, so I will show it to you guys how to maximize your growing in a small garden. So again, this is Marcelina. Thank you for viewing, guys. See you next time.